بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, just give you a quick recap of where we are on the signs of the Day of Judgment. So we mentioned regarding at the end of times when you find that there will be mainly Muslim armies in different areas. So one could be in Sham, one could be in Iraq, one could be in the south in Yemen. And then you find a man in Medina, he flees Medina because people are chasing him. And he goes towards Makkah, and now people go to gather around him and to give him bay'ah. And this person is the Mahdi, and they'll give him bay'ah next to the Kaaba. And one army is sent to kill this person who's running to Makkah. And this army is going to be swallowed by the earth, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will kill this army. And the Mahdi will come to unify all the different Muslim armies around, different Muslim armies, and then the Mahdi will come to unify them all, and then everybody will be fighting underneath or be underneath the leadership of the Mahdi. Then the Muslims will start to fight other people, which will be their enemies, and then there will be Muslims versus a Rum, so with the Europeans or someone close towards this. It mentions here a Rum. And whether there'll be many different types of wars, a series of different wars, and then from then on, you find that the Dajjal will come out, and then when they have a big army and they won their major battle, then Dajjal will come out, and then Dajjal will come, and then he will also go around the whole world and so forth, visit all the different cities, and also he has certain aspects and certain abilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him, and he will showcase them as well. And then you find that, so basically 40 days and one day will equal to 1 year and so forth. There's lots of fitna, and it's the fitna of the Dajjal and the fitna of the different things that he'll bring about. And then once the Dajjal is roaming around as well, you find that Isa alayhi salam will also be there. So Isa alayhi salam will also come down, and he will come down into Damascus. And once he's in Damascus as well, then he will he won't lead the salah, but he rather let Mahdi to read the salah in Fajr, and then after that Isa alayhi salam will be in charge, and he'll come as a ummati of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not come as a prophet, but rather he'll come as a ummati of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What will happen next is that they will gather, all the Muslim forces will go and try to search for Dajjal, and once they find Dajjal, then Isa alayhi salam will kill him. It's mentioned regarding that Isa alayhi salam will be such where he will see the Dajjal, and then the Dajjal will start to melt and so forth, and then eventually he'll kill the Dajjal. So all of the followers of the Dajjal, what will happen to them? They will start to flee and so forth, and then they go after them, and they'll also kill them as well. So once everyone is rid of the fitna of the Dajjal, so once the Dajjal is finished and his followers are also dispersed around, and there's no strength and might regarding them as well, a lot of them will be killed, then what will happen is that Ya'juj and Ma'juj will start to come. Once the Ya'juj and Ma'juj will start to come, then they will also, so they've broken against their wall or whatever it is, and they're free and they're roaming around the earth, and they're causing so much havoc and so much fitna and fasad, and they're killing everybody that they see. And then Isa alayhi salam is told that you cannot fight this nation, you cannot fight this army, and this army is so strong that you're physically not able to do this. So why don't you go towards the mountains and you take refuge in the mountains, this is Mantur and its surrounding areas, Mantur, and they're there in the caves of those mountains. And he mentions here they cause so much fitna and fasad, so much killing around the whole world that nobody can stand against them because of their quantity. He mentioned 6 billion now, 7 billion now. For them it's like almost more for a ratio between one human and probably 1,000 Ya'juj Ma'juj. So that's how for one person there's 1,000 or 999 Ya'juj Ma'juj, according to the hadith. So they'll be there, and then they'll be causing so much and will kill everyone, except for the followers of Isa alayhi salam. So Isa alayhi salam will make dua, they say get rid of this fitna, and then there'll be a certain disease that will come, and they'll kill all of the whole of the Ya'juj and Ma'juj. But they'll be filled up, this whole world will still be filled up with Ya'juj and Ma'juj. So how to get rid of their bodies? There'll be so much stench and smell. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let down the rain, and then a lot of the smell will go, and the birds will come, and a few separate kind of birds, a special type of birds will come, pick up the corpses and then dispose of them somewhere else. And then the world will be rid of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Then after this, what will happen is now we find that the era of peace. The era of peace. Now all of the fitna, all of the major fitnas are finished. There is no more major fitna to come. They have passed all of the tests. Only the people of Isa alayhi salam is left and his followers. Nobody else. So this is now the era of peace. So this is the hadith on this era where they've gone through battle after battle after battle. So much battle, so much war, so much bloodshed, so much killing. Now they deserve their peace. Why? Because they've been working so hard. Now they deserve their peace. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah mentioned different ahadith regarding this. So what is this? That we mentioned luxury and peace, the likes of which has never ever been seen before. So not even at the beginning of times, not even the times of Rasulullah, not even times after that. There's such peace, will be even better peace than this. He mentions here that one pomegranate will last, or it will feed a whole tribe. That's how much barakah is in that pomegranate, or that's how big the pomegranate will be. Meaning the earth will produce such big fruits that a whole tribe can eat from this. This is the era of peace. So the earth will give like never before. And he mentions here in different ahadith that the snakes will start to play with the toddlers. So much peace that even something which is venomous, they will even realize that you can play with toddlers, they can play with children as well. The lions and the wolves, or the lambs, or the wolves and the lamb will start to not kill each other. That's level of peace that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring amongst the world after war, after war, after war. He mentions how much era of peace will there be, how much era of peace will Isa alayhi salam lead. Some have mentioned 7 years, it could be less, it could be more. But a few years of peace, and they deserve this peace. And he mentioned another hadith that you shall perform the Hajj and the Umrah even after the Yajuj and Majuj. So even Yajuj and Majuj won't kill everybody. They won't destroy everybody. There'll be some people left. This is why the hadith mentions that people after Yajuj and Majuj, meaning there'll be some people left, and they'll perform the Hajj and the Umrah. There'll be no fighting, there'll be no arguing, there'll just be complete peace between everyone. Complete peace between everyone. Everyone will realize we've been through so much war, we just want peace. I don't want to argue with no one, I don't want to fight with no one, just want peace. So this is something which is that will happen at that time. And then we don't really know when Isa alayhi salam dies. We have no record of it, and there's nothing which is mentioned. Some have mentioned a natural death. Some have mentioned that he's got wife and kids, that he marries again. Allah, there's nothing really mentioned regarding this at all. There may be some weaker hadith, but nothing else on top of that. This hadith of Tirmidhi mentions that Abdullah bin Salam, so obviously he was a very senior rabbi, he knew the book Ahlul Kitab very well, and he accepted Islam. The senior rabbi in Medina, and he says that in the Torah it is written the description of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the description of Isa alayhi salam too, and he mentioned that they two will both be buried together. So it's a very famous hadith, and he mentions here that in the hujra, in the room of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha radiallahu ta'ala. So when you go towards Medina, and when you go to visit the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's his room, that's his house. That was his house, the house of Aisha radiallahu anha. In that house, who is buried is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Next to Rasulullah sallam is Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, and next to Abu Bakr is Umar radiallahu ta'ala. And he's mentioned here there's one more space left. And a lot of people are mentioning that this is the space for Isa alayhi salam, that he will be buried there. So this is also mentioned in the hadith, that they will be buried together, but this is from Abdullah bin Salam. So there's a space in the room of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you can accommodate with Isa alayhi salam. So whether it's something which is definite, something which is going to happen, then obviously we've got hadith to show this, but this hadith is coming from the Torah sources, if you know what I mean. It's from Abdullah bin Salam, and he is mentioning that I heard in the Torah like this. So this is something which obviously could happen as well. Whether he's got kids and so forth, and he marries again, this we don't really know of too much. So this is Isa alayhi salam. This is the era of peace. This is the era of peace. What about the followers of Isa alayhi salam, who are going to be the followers of Isa alayhi salam at that time? In Muslim, he mentioned this hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala an, that Allah will send Listen to this. This is also mentioned as actually one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. So amongst the signs of the Day of Judgment, there's many different. Some have differed with the different signs. So there's 10 definitely, but which are the 10? I will mention the earthquakes as 7, 8, and 9. But some have mentioned this one here, which I'm going to mention, that this is also a sign, a major sign of the Day of Judgment. What is this? That Allah will send a wind from the southern part of the Arabian lands, which is Yemen, and that is softer than silk. This wind is softer than silk, that shall not leave anyone with an ounce of Iman in his heart except he shall pass away. Meaning this wind, this breeze will come from the south, the southern type of wind. It will come and it will kill every single mu'min on this earth. But it's so soft, it's so peaceful, that anyone who has anyone that has Iman will die instantly. So this is also something. This is something which is big, right? Every single mu'min will now pass away. So after so many years of peace, then Allah will send this wind or this breeze, and everyone will pass away. The hadith mentions there that after this point in time, idolatry will return back towards the Arabs, and the women doing the tawaf around the, when the normal things that used to happen before Jahiliyyah. The women doing tawaf around their tribes. People will start to become worse than animals. They'll start to copulate in public like donkeys, and those times will start to come back again. Why will those times come back? Because there's no more Muslims left in the world. So a time will come where there will be no more Muslims left in this world. Allah will start to take Iman and say, Iman has now been lifted. Khalas, there's no more Muslims in this world. So the people that are left behind, they'll go back into idol worship, they'll go back into their own jahiliyyah, and they'll go back into whatever they used to be doing. Darimi mentioned this hadith because Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala an says that a time will come, the Quran will be taken back by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran will be taken back by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People will wake up, the mushafs will be blank, meaning they open up the books they have in their shelves and completely blank. Nobody with the Quran, nobody will have the Quran inside of their hearts. So imagine that day. We say that the hadith comes where if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to take away ilm or punish a nation or take away ilm inside of a nation, He takes away the ulama. He takes away the ulama. So the ulama pass away, and you find it's a big loss for that area or for the ummah in general. Why? Because ilm is now going away. Ilm is being taken away from that area. In the same way, Quran, our Quran, there will be a time where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take the Quran away as well. So all of the Muslims will be gone and the Quran will be lifted as well. So that's obviously something for us to try and say, look, before even any stage comes that I must make a connection with my Quran. I must have this, I must read this, I must understand this, I must do something with the Quran which is beneficial for me. Before a time comes where Allah says that I'm going to take it away. I'm going to take it away and that's it. Khalas, there's no more guidance left after this. So there'll be a time when that comes. This will happen. So then be very wary of this. So hold on to the Quran for as long as possible, because Allah will take it away one day. Hold on to the Quran and take benefit from it. Why? Because remember, taking benefit is not just reading it. Tilawat is one part, memorizing is another part, understanding is another part, and then deep diving and detailed explanation of the Quran is another. So there's different aspects of the Quran. It's not just for barakah, but when you read it, there will be barakah inside. It's not just for barakah, but when you read it and there is tilawat, then there will be barakah. Allah will give you barakah. So all of these aspects are there. Don't make it such that it becomes a book with the rest of the books on the shelf. Don't make it such where now it's just now only for a certain time period, only for Ramadan, and that's it. After Ramadan it goes. The Quran is something which we should revere, and we do revere. And he mentions regarding how a person who looks after the tools of knowledge, a person who really looks after the tools of knowledge, he really, the Quran in itself, the books, ilm, you give a lot of adab and respect towards ilm, what will happen? Allah will give ilm back to you. Allah mentions here that if you dive fully and immerse yourself fully into a water, then Allah will take one drop and give you one drop back. So if you immerse yourself fully into ilm and deen, Allah will give you one drop of ilm back. And this is, you may think that it's less, but for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ilm and His ocean of knowledge, then this is nothing for Allah to give back. For us it's a lot. So the respect of deen and the respect of the Quran, the respect of the people of the Quran, the respect of the scholars as well is very important. The tools of knowledge. When a person respects these things, you respect the Quran by holding it in your hand, close towards your chest. This is the way to try and respectfully hold the Quran, the Mus'haf. If you want to hold it by your side, like it's a normal book, then that's out of this. It's not the etiquettes of the Quran. It's not the etiquettes of the Quran to leave it on the floor, to put it on the floor. It's not respect. Why they put it on a elevated place? It's not the respect of the Quran to try and obviously use it as a pillow. You mentioned the hadith that people use it as a pillow and lean on it. There's not the respect of the Quran to do this. The respect of the Quran is now when a person holds it, he holds it well, he holds it with wudu. He puts, he looks after it, he looks at the pages, he looks after the pages. He doesn't draw it unnecessarily. It's like how many kids and then they start drawing the name. So he doesn't draw it unnecessarily regarding the Quran. So there's so much aspects of the Quran. Let's go a bit further regarding other books and to do with knowledge. Any type of knowledge, any source of knowledge that you have. Any source of knowledge that you have, how much respect am I giving all of these sources of knowledge? So example, whether it's a person, whether it's your mother that's teaching you the Quran, whether it's your teachers, whether it's a scholar, anyone that's giving you, then you respectfully show them that respect. You give them that respect and etiquette. The way that you talk to them, the way that you sit with them, the way that, and he mentions here regarding how Jibreel alayhi salam came down to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and how he sat with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, knee to knee, in the tashahhud position, like we sit in our salah, sitting down, knee to knee, and he used to go and make dua and revision of the Quran and so forth, and especially in the last year that he was alive, he made double. He done the revision of the Quran double and for extra days. So this is something where a person must give respect and show a lot of respect towards these things. Even when you have the desk that you put your Quran on, or you have your knowledge from, then that should be respected. That shouldn't be moved around like it's nothing. The pen, the qalam, the pen in itself shouldn't be chucked around, shouldn't be left on the floor, shouldn't be like, it should be rather disposed of in a respectful manner. Why? Because that's your tools of knowledge. All of the aspects of stationery is the tools of knowledge. Everything to do with knowledge is something which should be full of etiquettes, full of respect. And even though you find the ulama of the past, the likes of the Sahaba, the likes of the Tabi'een, the likes of Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Imam Abu Dawood, Imam Tirmidhi, the likes of Imam Ahmad, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik. These are the scholars of the past. The amount of the show, and their students as well, the way that used to sit in front of their teachers, the way they used to show a lot of adab and respect and etiquettes for the deen of Allah, for the knowledge of Allah. All of these different aspects of deen. وَمَنْ يُعَذِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Their taqwa level was very high. Why? Because they make ta'zeem of the sha'air of Allah. They make ta'zeem of deen. They make ta'zeem and used to honor deen. Used to honor and respect and give a lot of etiquettes and adab towards Islam and the people of Islam and the tools of Islam. All of these aspects of deen is to give a lot of reverence towards. When a person gives this reverence, Allah gives him deen, Allah gives him ilm, Allah gives him wisdom, Allah gives him hikmah. So those are the people of the past that used to have certain pages of the Quran and the Hadith. They used to turn the page in a certain way, and it's going very slowly. Why? Because they want to rip the page. Why? Because they had the Hadith on that page, they want to rip the page. Sometimes you write side notes and it's written on the side. They didn't turn the book that way, rather they turned their whole body to go to the side of the book to read it. That's how much adab and respect. And this is why we mention their names 1,000 years later. This is why we mention their names 1,000 years later. The likes of Imam Malik and so forth. Imam Malik, when he used to teach his dars of hadith, every single time he used to take a ghusl for every single dars that he used to give. And then he used to go and put on new clothes. And they used to put on itar, new itar, every single time. It's to cost them a lot of money, because I must do this. Why? Because I got so much respect for the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So much respect for the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to put on new clothes every single time, new itar every single time, have a ghusl every single time, and then give his dars. Then he give his dars. So this is the respect given by the scholars of our past, the students of deen of the past. They used to go and have a small little lantern with a candle, and there's the whole mention of burning the midnight oil. They used to go and spend nights in just regarding small little candle, have their book there and start learning deen. This is the fervor for deen. This is the sacrifice they gave for deen. This is why we have our information now. This is why we have our fiqh. This is why we have our hadith. This is why we have our tafsir. All these books written down amongst all of these scholars, because they gave sacrifices. They gave a lot of adab and respect. Allah gave them a lot. Allah gave them honor. Allah gave them izzah. Allah gave them sincerity. Allah gave them their names to be remembered. Legacies they leave behind. This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They didn't come just because of a small... They came so much. They gave their life for deen. They gave their life for deen. They used to go on bread. People used to give them bread in the morning. Why? They didn't have bread, they didn't have money, but they used to go and do this. Some of them were obviously learning, studying and working at the same time. But their work was like, I'm going to work during the day, so then I can go and do my studies in the night time. So this is how much adab and respect they used to have for the deen of Allah. But when looking at ourselves, there'll be a time when Allah takes away the hadith, Allah takes away the Quran, Allah takes away knowledge, Allah takes away iman, Allah takes away the word of Allah from this world. There'll be a time when Allah takes away everything from us. So it's time to take it now before Allah takes it away. It's time to try and make something and show a lot of adab towards these things as well. So utilize your ilm, utilize your amal, utilize your Quran, your hadith, your tools of knowledge, and use those tools of knowledge. Don't use it in a certain manner where now it's of disrespect. So sometimes we're using, example, we have technology now. So we're using the phone, for example, our Quran. Use it out of necessity. Use the phone, the Quran and the phone out of necessity. Meaning, if you have the chance to use a mushaf, you rather use a mushaf. But if you're now maybe traveling or you're somewhere else and you don't have wudu, then it's slightly different. Then okay, use those aspects of deen, fine. But also give it respect as well. Give it respect as well. The same way that we have online, and we have all the videos online, and we're learning from online sources and so forth. To go to an actual ustad and to go to and learn from an actual teacher is much more beneficial than learning online. So I always use this example that when an ustad, when a teacher, in the past, the teacher never used to go around all of the houses of the students and teach them one by one. How it used to happen in the past? All the students used to gather around the teacher, and the teacher used to give his dars. The likes of Imam Hanifa, Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, people used to come to him and he used to go and give the dars out. And people used to travel city after city on camel, on horses, on walking, carrying their luggage all the way there to go and to meet this ustad, to meet this teacher, to meet this scholar, all around these places. And this is how they got their names. So once all of this happened, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened up the deen and knowledge for these people. So now you have all of these people and they give their adab and respect and so forth. So all of that happened, and now we see that regarding those people of the past and regarding those scholars and regarding Allah giving them so much, it took a lot of effort. So those people going, so that I'm talking about online teaching regarding face-to-face teaching. Big difference between the two. One is the nur of the Quran and the hadith is one, and from the ustad that's going to give it. On top of that you find, I'll finish on this, on top of that you'll find when you're learning online and when you're learning, you find that the people that are coming and making effort towards leaving their house and coming to the teacher, that effort, Allah sees the effort and you get rewarded for that effort. And then Allah sees that sacrifice you're making, Allah opens up the way for you. But now you're sitting down on your sofa and you're gaining knowledge, then the sacrifice is now missing. And once that sacrifice is missing, then also that knowledge and hikmah also, there's a gap inside of that. So I talked about regarding more the knowledge, the adab and the respect and the etiquette that you give for knowledge. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept everyone's efforts We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it such that whatever we are doing, we are now giving respect towards knowledge. Allah give us hikmah and wisdom in everything that we do. We ask Allah subhanahu for guidance and acceptance in all of what we do. Subhanallah wa hamdi, subhanallah wa hamdi. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Inshallah, everyone requested to try and go back to the tents, inshallah, and break their fast there, make their du'as. But please, when eating, inshallah, try not to waste any food. Please pass around the food and try not to waste anything, inshallah. Anything that does get wasted, then we are responsible.
ये भी इधर रख दिया।